and welcome to our Jaguar Enrichment feed. Now first of all, a little bit about Jaguars. What you're looking at right now, these are the ultimate big cats, okay, in terms of strongest, fastest, best at climbing, best swimmers and biting strength. They may not look the biggest, but it's not about the size. I'm sure a few of you have heard that phrase before. Pound for pound, these guys are the strongest of all the big cats. They're almost like the Floyd Mayweathers or Manny Pacquiao's of the big cat world in that respect. Now the fastest of all the big cats, now I know you may be a little bit like, how's that possible when you've got cheetahs? But cheetahs aren't actually a big cat. You only actually have 4 species of big cat. You've got lions, tigers, leopards and jaguars. They're the only 4 species of big cat. These guys for their size are the fastest of all of them. As well as that, they're the best climbers and they love to spend time in water as well. Tigers lions don't really spend too much time in the water, so they've got one over on both of them. But the really impressive thing about a jaguar is their biting strength. If you look at the back of his neck, you can see these massive great muscles. And that's what gives them this impressive biting strength. Our biting strength is around 50 pounds per force. A lion's is around 1,000 pounds per force. These guys, 1,800 to 2,000 pounds per force. So it shows you the real size difference. There's not a single bone in your body that a jaguar can't go through in one bite. And it even shows in the way in which they hunt. Lions and tigers, they're famous for going through the front of your throat and suffocating their prey. Jaguars, they feel that's a waste of time, too much energy. They want it nice and quick. So what they'll do is they'll go for the back of your neck or the top of your skull, and in one bite, they've got enough power to snap your spine or crush in the top of your skull. And that's what they do to all their prey out in the wild. Come on, you big baby. Unfortunately, they lack intelligence. This is Ares though, I'll give you that. Ares, as you can see here, he is our male. He is what a lot of people would classify as a normal jaguar, which is obviously the kind of yellow and orange with the black rosettes. And in here we also have Athena, who's actually locked in the house at the moment. I'm just going to say she's not really a people person, we'll leave it at that. She's a black jaguar. Alright, now a lot of people often think that these are black panthers. Well, there's actually no such thing as a black panther whatsoever. Panthera or panther is basically a big cat slash in that. So a panther can be any of the big cats. Ares, you see a giant red ball, seriously. He's blocked it as he's equal about it. Right, he's going to look at a panther is like a big black cat. Black jaguars and black leopards, they've got exactly the same rose in one spot. Jaguars and leopards, there's no real difference between them. It's just simply a colour difference, kind of like black and white people in that respect. And they are fairly common out in the wild. Particularly with jaguars, not so similar with leopards, it's a bit rarer. Seriously, is it still found it?
Good pictures,
Need
to go in and
so yeah, but yeah, that's kind of the story behind black jaguars. In terms of Ares himself, this individual is actually very impressive looking boy, very, very handsome. Unfortunately, he's not all there though. There's a few people that have worked with him generally know. Ares came from Go on. In terms of what we've given him, watching that red ball, we've got we only give our cats the finest meat, and as well as that, we've also got a nice bit of a collarbone in there for him as well that we kind of wedged in there. In terms of the hole, usually behind the ball, those balls are incredibly hard, actually harder than our skulls. The whole idea behind it is that if he wants to get the food, he's really going to have to work for it. So hopefully, he'll throw it around and crash it against other objects. Uses incredible bite in their claws to hopefully break the hole. The whole idea behind it is to do what they do do out in the wild in terms of breaking bones, ripping into things, and that. I know he's going to hide from all this. Not quite confused, he's got a lovely big back. Out in the wild, these cats, they come from the Amazon rainforest. These are the biggest cats in the Western Hemisphere. The only other kind of big cat, or cats a similar size as these guys that you'll find over there, are pumas. Pumas are actually classified as big cats. Everything pumas, cheetahs, downwards, they're small cats. The main reason is because these guys are seen as cats that can roar. Pumas and cheetahs, they actually can't roar. So that's what makes a big cat a big cat. Nothing to do with the fact that massive teeth, razor sharp claws, that can kill you, just the fact that things are going. So, but there you go. Now, some people do get confused between cheetahs and jaguars. Today, you would have been able to see a difference. Mainly in the cheetahs, it is a bit obvious. In terms of their spots, the cheetahs have literally just got polka dot spots. There's no holes or gaps in the middle of their spots whatsoever. Leopards, they've got kind of medium-sized spots, all of their lines attached. And with jaguars, you can see some of the rosettes, the flat lines, they don't actually touch. But at the same time, the main way of telling the difference between a leopard spot and a jaguar spot, jaguars have actually got little tiny dots in the middle of all of their rosettes, whereas leopards don't. They're the kind of main differences in spots. In terms of build, once again, hopefully you'll be able to see a nice big difference. Cheetahs, they're like the supermodels of the cat world. They're very tall, very leggy, very lady-like. Not particularly the best build. Leopards, they're kind of the average Joes of the cat world. You know, not the tallest, not the most built. Pound for pound, they're one of the strongest cats. Whereas jaguars, as you can see, they're just like the Arnold Schwarzeneggers of the cat world. They're just pure muscle. There's not an ounce of fat on them whatsoever. And they're not particularly tall either. They're the kind of size. I don't think we are going to make them. As you've kind of clocked on already, Ares isn't quite all there. Not just when it comes to hunting or things like that. When it comes to mating, Ares has got a lovely knack of mating with absolutely everything in the enclosure, apart from the female. So we haven't really managed to do too well on that front. It's got a lovely knack when there's no food around and a couple of us come over. He's got a lovely knack of coming over, and a nice big cuddle, and then going and getting it started on the grass. Yeah, he kind of loves people a bit more than he loves his potential girlfriend. So in terms of the future for him, we're kind of debating whether or not to bring in another male for Athena, because it's very, very clear that she wants babies. In terms of personality, she would be the perfect cat to release back out into the wild. She's on a completely different level to Ares in terms of wild ability in that respect. Ares, he was actually hand-reared, so he doesn't really kind of understand the whole jaguar language. Athena, on the other hand, she's a different story. Right? She's grown up in captivity her entire life, but she's got one of those personalities where if you released her back out into the world tomorrow, she would know exactly what she was doing. She doesn't need to. And it's shown in some of the ways in which we work with the cats here. One thing that we've recently started doing with all of the cats is a thing called target training. Basically, we get the cats to go to different points of the enclosure using a big red ball and a sting. So the whole purpose behind that is we won't actually have to use any anaesthetic on the cats whatsoever when we're doing health checks on them in the future. Athena, she's a bit too quick for us. She generally knows all the points already, so she actually starts teaching the keepers where to go and what to do. She's on the with a pad of a pen and tries to figure out how she's going to get there. She's got a lovely confidence on that. Ares, as you can see, he's nice and calm, doesn't mind people too much, loves a bit of a cuddle to the bed, going too risky at times. He's just a proper jaguar. One thing that I always like to point out to people that people don't necessarily realise when you're watching documentaries, things like that, is how dangerous some cats are. Because everyone seems to think that lions and tigers are the real kind of kings of the cat world. Well, as I said, how you look at these guys, these are the cats. And it shows in how people get hands-on with cats as well. Why is it whenever you watch a documentary and you see people getting hands on with big cats. You only ever seem to see them getting hands on with lions or tigers. Yet lions and tigers are the ones that seem to have the reputation of being the real dangerous ones. The reason is because if they got hands on with a jaguar, the documentary wouldn't be particularly long. Whereas the current law in this country says you can go in with big cats up until the age of 18 months, with Ares we actually chose to stop going in with him when he was 8 months. He used to hold him stiff and things like that when he goes to walks. He was throwing you all about the place. And jaguars, they really do get aggressive when they're going through the adolescent stages. And you didn't really want to be in the enclosure when you're doing it. So, right now he loves human attention. I'm not sure if he's actually gay or not, because he seems to love blokes more than he does women. But, you know, you can get that in the animal world as well. Like I said, Athena, she's the flip side. I'm trying to figure out how to get it. That's all down to Athena, because these guys actually lived up at Paradise until last year, which in that time Athena had tried every way conceivable to get out of her enclosure. We used to have a nice big tool Zimbabwe bloke who used to work for us. His name's Shorty. And one thing that we kind of noticed was when we were getting Athena in, she used to run as fast as she could into the house, up to the glass that there was. The bar there was a mesh. And she realised Chalky was just pulling on the glass. So a couple of months this happened, and all of a sudden, one day Chalky opened up as normal, in shot Athena, went up the glass, stuck her paw out of the mesh. Well, ever since then we had a couple of meshes closed. She learned that if she crushed the paw in, she could actually bit the part of her arm out of the enclosure. So we'd be here doing jaguar talks, so that Paradise and separation pens are a lot smaller. You haven't really got as wide standoffs. You'll be talking, all of a sudden you just feel a jaguar thing on your face. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, but it just shows you they're very, very intelligent when they want to be. Ares there. One thing we don't realise though is that the Amazon actually takes up about a third of our oxygen supply on this planet. So it's going to be interesting when all the trees are cut down, to see how many people do well over that part of the world. But lose the Amazon completely. There's only about 4% of it left. Alright, that may be 15 times the size of the UK, but still. An area the size of it's cut down every second or so. So they're cutting it down pretty quickly. Unfortunately, the jaguars are the ones that are getting the real kind of bad end of it. But where these guys come from, they are the ultimate predator. They will take down everything from tapirs, which animals that are coming from a rhino or a horse, massive graphic animals weighing caiman or small crocodiles. Jaguars will eat them. Jaguars will even eat anacondas out in the wild. They are not afraid of that's why I generally love them so much. It's raining, I'll shut up so you can all get away. If anyone wants to stay and anyone's got any questions, please feel free to fire away. If not, I'll see you over at the line enclosure at 4:30 for the hand. Alright?